Hi, let me just take a minute or two. I'm David Kotok, the Chief Investment Officer at Cumberland Advisors. For those who don't recognize me, it's been a while with lockdown and the lifestyle we are now engaged in this COVID-19 period. Let me take a minute or two and just talk about a very important issue which is evolving right now. We're seeing a reopening of some dialogue with the United States and China, and we see slight movement towards conversation. Very slight, after lots of belligerency, bombast, lots of threats, name calling, blame game, exchanges, closing of our consulate in China, which was a Chinese response to our closing of one of their consulates in the United States. We see tariffs, we see criticism, we see the naming of the virus as the China virus and the Wuhan virus, all kinds of conspiracy theories, a mess. No diplomacy there, no geopolitical politics at play. Blame game. But now a slight amount of change. What's being recognized in the United States by a lot of people who understand the economics and dynamics of free trade is that this doesn't help us. We lose. The United States loses. The farmer loses. He doesn't sell soybeans. The lobsterman in Maine loses. He doesn't ship a lobster. We don't get a supply chain medication that's made in China. Why is it made in China? Because our companies, our America, put the plant there. We see shifting taking place in Asia from China to places like Vietnam. We see other economies recovering in Asia, and we see the general theme of Asian response to the COVID virus demonstrating how those economies and countries were prepared while the United States was not. They had 20 years of experience. They encountered SARS in 2003. And they put in place systems of testing and tracing and all of the things that we didn't do. So we got mad. It became a political football in the United States. That's a shame. But there's a recognition that political football is one thing, blame game is one thing when it comes to actual tangible impacts. The United States is being hurt, and the politics of being hurt could affect the election. In China, it's a different story. Xi Jinping has to deal with his own internal politics. There's only one political party, the Communist Party. There's only one. There's 90 million communists who are members of the Chinese Communist Party. They are out of a population of 1.4 billion people. We have two political parties, Democrats and Republicans, and we have smaller cohorts, and we have a largest group of independently minded folks or independently registered folks, and we are 330 million people. So you begin to put this into a perspective. It is better for us to have some trade, some dialogue, some exchanges than belligerency, bombast, blame game, and deterioration in relationship. It is better for China as well. So some realization seems to be creeping into the conversation. That will evolve better after the election. Between now and the November election, one can't believe anything in the political realm. One can't believe the government. Anybody who is running for political office, who's trying to get elected, is going to tell the American public what the candidate thinks, whether it's Trump or Biden or Pence or Harris or a congressman or a senator or a governor. They're going to try to get elected. So what we do see is a little green shoot in the China conversation. We see that two ways. You see Lighthizer, who is a very skilled professional trade negotiator involved. You see the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, who is a very skilled diplomatic spokesperson for Donald Trump and the administration and doesn't pick a belligerent fight, involved. And you don't see Peter Navarro, the caustic, toxic, bile-consuming pit bull of the China negotiations. The Chinese contingent don't want to deal with him. He's nasty. I don't blame them. And the United States wants to accomplish something, so they don't want him in that trade contingent. The discussion's underway. We're going to see what happens. I personally believe the outcomes with China will not go to shooting war in the South China Sea. The Chinese don't want a war with the United States, and the United States doesn't want a war with China. So we watch this unfold. It will have major implications for markets. The United States is the largest economy in the world. China is the second largest economy in the world. And when you measure them adjusted for the currency values, China is the largest economy in the world. Add to that one more thing. China has 400 million millennials, well-educated, thirsting for knowledge, and they have a very high confidence in their government. When they are polled, the inquiries indicate 80% or more have confidence in the Chinese government from Beijing. We have, instead of 400 million millennials in our population, we have 80 million millennials. 10 million of them are dealing with opioid and other addiction problems. Many are tired. They have had a generation involved in endless war in Afghanistan and other places. 70 million, and only about half of them are serious about their education. So there's a vast difference. It is better for everybody if we just get along and try to find the common ground to improve both countries. That realization is clear to those who study this discussion. Will it evolve? Will we have a positive surprise on U.S.-China relationships? Will it affect financial markets, stock prices in both countries, exchanges, monetary exchanges? That remains to be seen, but there's a little speck, a little green shoot that something positive can happen. Thank you for a few minutes to talk about China-U.S. relationships and financial markets. Be safe, be careful.